Last night I watched the newest movie about a famous dead person, brought to you by Netflix. This one was Blonde, about Marilyn Monroe, starring Ana de Armas. When the first trailer came out, I was quite excited to see this film. Ana de Armas is a good actress, and I quite liked Andrew Dominik's assassination of Jesse James. And then a bunch of controversies surrounding the film began plaguing film Twitter and Instagram, like the fact that it's based around material that's largely fictitious, or the weird time where Anna asked permission from Monroe at her grave and apparently her ghost haunted the set. I don't know. Now the first controversy is a tough one. I largely hated Bohemian Rhapsody for how much it fabricated, but I don't think basing it around a fictitious story is necessarily a bad thing in concept. There was a movie about John Lennon and Paul McCartney called The Two of Us, which was based on a real event but was almost entirely fictitious. I guess the fact that it's marketed as a biopic is what really drags it down to this level. So anyways, thanks to the controversies and the overwhelming amount of mixed reviews, I mean fucking look at Letterboxd, I didn't go in with many expectations, and I definitely wasn't going in to hate it. I was mostly just hoping that it wouldn't be a run-of-the-mill biopic which conforms to the cliched tropes that a lot of biopics seem to love clinging to. So anyways, what were my thoughts? It was boring. I don't like it all that much, although I will give it a little bit of praise going in. First, I think the cinematography is almost perfection. It gives you a very dreamlike atmosphere and has a lot of close-up shots to make you feel uneasy and claustrophobic. The film is like a never-ending nightmare. While the cinematography was good, there were at times some very strange aspect ratio changes. I understand why some of them were changed in a few scenes, but in other scenes, the aspect ratios changed so many times that it just felt like a pretentious student film. The editing was also very strange at times. I understand that a lot of it was there to give the intended uneasiness to the audience, but there were so many scene transitions that just felt wrong and out of place in a way that I do not think was intentional at all. I think most of the performances were fine, namely Adrian Brody as Arthur Miller. Ana de Armas did fine for what she was given, but there were moments where she really took me out because of her accent. Like, you can still hear her Spanish accent slipping through, and as a result, it just sounds kind of wrong. This is clearly a case of filmmakers trying to find someone who resembles Marilyn more than someone who can give an actual flawless performance. Like, when you're making a biopic, I would say that whether the main actor looks like the real person should be your second concern to whether or not their acting abilities, and in this case, speaking abilities, are acceptable and work well. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Anna did a bad job at all, but I still think she either should have gotten more speech therapy because the amount she already did clearly wasn't enough, or maybe they should have gotten someone else because while in some parts she does good, her lines are so robotic in others. Also, I thought some of the direction in this film was a bit weird, like this one scene. I know the absurdly large mouths are supposed to be disturbing, but they just look fucking hilarious to me. Also, through everyone looking at the camera, you'd assume we're looking at Marilyn's point of view, yet it pans and shows her walking in front of the camera. So basically, most of these people are looking behind her for some strange reason. Is there someone else behind her we're not seeing? Are their brains working extra slow? I can actually imagine that would be it. Okay, so spoilers ahead. If you do not want to be spoiled, then please skip to this time code because I'm going to be spoiling the movie here. So 3, 2, 1. It's not just these technical aspects that bother me, it's also the fact that this film seems so damn exploitative, both to Anna and to Monroe. Obviously to Monroe because the story is fabricated in a lot of parts and has a large focus on her sexual and emotional abuse, but also to Anna because it feels like they're just sexualizing her body. I would probably be a lot more fun with it if it weren't for the fact that this is mostly fiction, and it would be a very good way of showing us a tragic life and a complex psyche, which is clearly what this film is trying to accomplish. But what do they want? To tell a fictional story about a real person, or to explain the real psyche of a real person? You can't have both. I honestly understand and admire what the film was trying to do, it's just a shame that they decided to do it so wrong. This film has a very strange focus on her father. After doing some research, it's clear that she was nowhere near as obsessed with finding her father in real life as she was presented as in the film, and it seems more like another way to pad out the already egregious runtime. I also hate how the film likes to treat the audience as if we're idiots, such as in the beginning there's a scene where Marilyn is sexually assaulted by a studio producer. I know the scene has gotten a lot of backlash, but I think it's a very powerful look at the abuse that females endured in Hollywood during that time. And later on, Marilyn is having a talk with Joe DiMaggio and they flash back to the rip scene after he asks how she became an actor. Like, we can see from her face that she's probably thinking of it. We don't need the film to tell us,
just remember that one scene where she got yelped, okay, because she was yelped in that one scene, remember that she got yelped.
Another instance of the film treating the audience like we're idiots was nearing the end when Monroe was having a dream about an abortion and wakes up and repeatedly says,
What a weird dream.
Like some sort of children's play. We get it, it's a dream. You don't have to keep saying it for us. So yeah, like the British monarchy, this movie is fucking pointless. I'm not recommending this to anyone, I could care less if you decide to watch it or not. It's not the worst movie I've seen this year, but it's still not good. It's an insult to Marilyn, it's an insult to Anna, and it's an insult to the audience. So anyway, enough of the bullshit, this movie is getting 1.5 stars.
The French are glad to die for love. They delight in fighting duels. But I prefer a man who lives and gives expensive